everyone, I'm Dr. Sonali and I welcome you all to CSC Core Concepts in the series Data Science with Python. So far we have seen the visualization tools like Matplotlib, Seaborn, etc. Now we move further to a new package or a library, that is the scikit-learn. Now what is the beauty of this package is that it helps us to build models. For what? For machine learning algorithms, right? So in this upcoming videos, we will see how can we will implement each of the machine learning algorithms. But before we could start with any specific machine learning algorithm, we will in general see what are the steps which are involved while building a model. Now, this series for model building will be continued in two or three parts because it is not the video will be too lengthy if I wish to finish it within one session. So just stay tuned and of course like, share, subscribe to the channel to keep an eye and understand how we can create some interesting models using scikit-learn. Moreover, one more thing I would like to tell you is that in this series, when we are implementing machine learning algorithms, you need to know about the algorithms, about the theoretical part of those algorithms. For that, you can go through my playlist. The playlist I will share in the description box. So you can go through the playlist and from there you can understand the theory of behind it so that this is easy for you to understand the Python implementation. The same set of machine learning algorithm is also implemented using RStudio. That playlist also I will share in the description box. So let us get started with building models. So what is first of all scikit? It is an open source for building some machine learning models. So basically you need to install it if you are using any one of the IDEs. So for to install it, you have to use pip install and -u scikit-learn. Now there are certain steps you directly cannot call a naive Bayes or a support vector machine to pass your data. There are certain steps which needs to be followed in order to perform this activity. So the very first step is the loading of the data set. Then we have to split the data set into two parts, namely the training data set and the testing data set. Okay, so now in the training and the testing data set, now what we require, let's say you have some CSV file or we can also use some of the inbuilt data sets. So now in this data set you have, let's say, 100 records, right? Now what we do is that if you remember while teaching also, what we do is that if I have 100 numericals, 50 numericals maybe I am solving it in the class to train you, and rest 50 I may give you for the test to check whether you learned or not. The same thing applies here also. So if you have a data set, let's say you have 100 rows. So out of 100 rows, you may use the 60 rows in order to train the model, and then you may use the rest 40 to test the model whether it has learned or not. So we will see how can we split the data set. Now then after comes the categorical data. Let's say you have two categories, like either the person has a heart disease or he does not have a heart disease. That is a binary classification. Or let's say for example, you remember the iris data set. So the iris data set, let me show you the iris data set. So here in this iris data set, there are 150 records. Now, the iris is a flower. The type of the flower depends on the four parameters, that is the sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and the petal width. Okay. Now, based on this, there are three species of iris, that is iris setosa, there is iris versicolor, and there is third one is iris virginica. So this depends on these four parameters. Understood? So these are categorical data. So the machine does not understand any categorical data like this. So for it to understand, we have to convert these categories into numbers. That is how we can handle the categorical data. We will see this practically. Thereafter, we have to scale the feature. Now sometimes our data, you can see here the data is between 5.1, 4.9 like this. Let's say you have certain values. Let's say for example blood sugar level you are measuring. Okay, now blood sugar level can come as 85, 100, 200, okay, any value in this range. Now suppose if you are measuring any other parameter, let's say hemoglobin, so hemoglobin will be your 6.5, 7.5. So what is the, you can see there is a vast difference in the range, right? So you need to scale them on some standard scaling measurement, right? So you may scale all the values between 0 to 1. Okay, so that is called as feature scaling. Training the model, then we will see how can we train the model, and after we have trained the model we will test the model. So testing here is called as making the predictions. We will give some samples and tell them to predict to which category it belongs to, and thereafter we will evaluate the model that how much correct it is, right? So that is evaluation. So all these steps we will be doing in 2 or 3 parts of the video. So let us get started with loading the data set. Now while loading the data set, now Scikit also has certain data sets installed. You can always use your CSV file. Okay, that also we will discuss. Both ways we will discuss. So if you have a CSV file, so very well you know you can go back to the pandas videos and you can see how you can use it in put it in the Google Colab, and you can mount your Google Drive, and then you can import from your Google Drive, right? And you can use your pandas dataset. And the second way is that there are certain inbuilt datasets. So in the earlier Seaborn packages, we have seen that it had Penguin dataset, Iris dataset. They are already loaded, right? So similarly in Scikit also there are certain datasets loaded, and you can use those datasets also. Now, whatever data you have, there are two parts of the data. One part is the X and another part is the Y. So what is the X part? X is called as the features. Features means those who define. Like in Iris, you can see you have the sepal length, then you have the sepal width, petal length, petal width. These are the features. So this all 4 is your X, right? And what is your species is the target. You have to predict the species based on these 4 parameters, right? So that is your Y. So target is your X, features are your X and target is your Y. Understood? So let us see how can we load the data set. I will show you in a practical form. So let us go to our Google Colab. Okay, now we have to import some libraries. Let us import some basic libraries if we require, because otherwise if we use it then we may get error. So import pandas, numpy, this we have done. So now let us say okay, sklearn I want to import, right? So I can also write down from sklearn dot data sets. So first I have to use the data sets. Okay, import, what I want to import, say load Iris. Okay, so this is my data set which I want to import from here. Understood? Now next is that I will use a data frame. Iris is equals to load data set, load Iris. I am assigning this data to Iris. Understood? And here I have to assign the features, right? So X is my data, the features. So Iris dot data. Now Y is equals to what? Iris dot target. Now you remember one thing, this Iris dot data and Iris dot target, these functions are available when you are importing from sklearn. But if you are using the pandas library, then these features are not available. Understood? That time I will show you how you can use it. So you can use it this way. Now if you want to see the feature names, okay, let us see the feature names. So you can use Iris dot feature names if you want to see the data set, right? And in pandas what you used to do, pd data frame dot head. Okay, so that way you used to do that. So target names is equals to Iris dot target names. You want to see them, let's print them. Okay, so print feature names comma target names. So let us see how does it work. So you can see these are the features: sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width, all in centimeters. And these are the three targets: setosa, versicolor, and virginica. Now this is what I am showing you here is my version of the CSV file. You can also download, it is available. But actually in the SK-Kit learning data sets, it is only setosa. Here in I showed you that it is written your iris hyphen setosa, but in sklearn they have only setosa. So fine, so good, so fine. Now let us, so we have loaded the data set. So now you can play with the data, that if you want to see the type, you can see, you can just write down type of X, you can print some first 5 rows, this all is known to us. Now we go to the next part, that is splitting the data set. Now this is very important part, because the way you split it, the way it works, right? The model will work. See, if you give, let me give you one example. Let's say, for example, I am splitting, I have 100 records. Okay, for 80 rows I am using for training, and only 20 I am giving for testing. Okay, so or let's say, first of all, let's say other way, 20 I am using for training, only 20 sums I gave you, maths numericals I gave you to practice, but for the test I am giving rest of the 80. So what is the probability that many students will fail? Because there is not enough practice, right? So now if I do the other way, let's say I am training more, but I am giving some other examples as testing. So in that case also what will happen, people may not do. Now this is the you can say case of overfitting and underfitting. So for that also I have made a separate video to explain what is your overfitting and underfitting. So you can go and watch that video. So now what is this, that video is available in the machine learning playlist, right? So now what you have to do is you have to split in a better way. Now what is a better way? That is also a question. How would you know what is a better way? So the thing is that what we do here is that, let's say I am just telling an arbitrary 70% training, 30% testing. I will train my model based on this. I will get some accuracy score. Now, if I am not getting a very good accuracy, I feel that the model is over learning or under learning, then I may change it. That is called as fine tuning your model. These are my hyperparameters, and I have to tune my parameters, right? Many parameters will be there. I will teach you what are hyperparameters when we will do KNN and other algorithms. So for now, we do not know exactly what ratio will give us the best results. What we can do is that we can have an estimate, and based on that only we can execute. Now first thing is that here we need to learn how to train, how to split our data into two parts, training and testing. So see, when you are writing such a big program, no, it is a good practice that you can insert some text and write down, this is a loading data set. It will give a good effect to your projects. Like if you are doing submitting some assignments, so this will be very good. Okay, so again I can have a text here, and I can write down splitting the data set. Done. So I can split the data set. Now let me add some code. Now how to split the data set? I have to import a package. Package I have imported sklearn, but sklearn has multiple packages, right? It is a library. Now which package data sets you use to import the data? Now if you want to split, so to split you have a function called as train test split, and this is available in the model selection module, right? So you have to write down from sklearn dot model selection import which package you want to import, which function, train test split. This will help you to split your data into training and testing, right? So now let us see. Now after you train, okay, after you split your data, now already your data has two parts, X and Y, right? So X, some of the X features will go to X training, some X you will use for testing. So you are creating two sets, training and testing. Now training will have two parts, X values training, Y values test training. And similarly testing will also have two parts, X testing and Y testing, right? So how will you write X underscore train, and then you have what, X underscore test, right? Four things will be created, X underscore train, X underscore test, then you have Y train, and you have Y test, right? This you can get by calling the module train test split, okay? And what you have to pass in the arguments, the data values. Where are they? X contains all the data. Now you are splitting it into train and test, okay? X, and you are passing same for Y. Now you have to give the test size. So test size you have to give, let's say I'm saying 0.2, means what, 20% will go for testing. So when I am giving 20% for testing, so obviously 80% is for training. And another feature I have to give is random state is equals to 1. This acts as a seed. Seed is used, like in R we have used seed. So seed is used to give a randomness to your data. Otherwise, let me show you why it is required. See, if you see these records, the data, how it is arranged. The first, there are 150 records, fine. 3 categories, fine. But if you see 1 to 50 is all record of Setosa, or 51, right? 1 to 50, because this is the header. Then 51 to 100 is all versicolor, and then Virginica. Now what will happen? Let's say you are saying your 80% is your record is for training, right? So 80% means out of 150 records, how many you will give for training, right? So you will give, let's say, 120 records for training. Now if you go to 120, you have all the records mostly of versicolor, Setosa, and very few of Virginica, right? And for testing, what you are doing, you are giving only for testing Virginica. If you are giving in a sequence, if the training data is coming as a sequence, then what will happen? The results will be very biased, because for training you are giving only Setosa and versicolor, while for testing you are giving Virginica, which will fail because it will not recognize, because it has not been trained. It is something like I am giving you one and second type. I am teaching you KNN and SVM in the class. Okay, I am going in a sequence. I am giving KNN and SVM in the class, and for test I am giving random forest. So obviously the model will fail, right? So that is why you need to give it random. Let us print and see, right? How is the state? So X train dot shape, comma, X test dot shape, then Y train dot shape, and Y test dot shape. This is what I got. Okay, so you see the shapes. What is X train shape? 120 cross 4 means what? First 120 records, means not only first 120, means total 120. That is in a random way. Okay, now I hope you understood why randomness is required. So 120 and 4 columns are there, right? That is X training. For testing, you are giving 30 rows with 4 columns. For Y train, you are giving only 120. Y train, because Y is only the target class. So you have only one column, so they have not mentioned. So 120 rows for target training, and Y 30 rows for testing. So I hope you understood this, right? So otherwise also you can print it like this, print X train dot index dot size. Okay, so this way also you can do it, but it may yeah, it is for NumPy, and you have to give the index size and all. So let's not go there. We can just have the shape. I hope you understood how it is working. So this is about your loading and splitting the data. In my next video, we will see how can we. So first two are done. Okay, so now we will see how to handle categorical data and feature scaling, training, and rest of them. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for my next video. Thank you.